If you've been on the internet or YouTube over the past couple of weeks or so, the word Kuna has probably appeared, and you're like, what? What's a Kuna?
Meet the European pine marten. A member of the Mustelidae family, it's related to weasels, ferrets, and otters.
What is this thing Springfield is importing from HS Produkt? Well, I love my MP5, right? AP5-P, MP5K clone. Almost as much as like my first form teriyaki protein sticks, which is a good little range snack. So, I was like, a new roller delayed blowback. Okay. That sounds pretty cool. PCC 9mm, 6-inch barrel. That roller delayed gets you that ease of recoil. Should be pretty quick to get rounds on target. Very accurate. All the good stuff you're looking for. Plus, it added a lot of features that I think a lot of us really enjoy about PCCs, and even some features from like ARs and things like that that we enjoy. So the familiarity is there, because let's face it, the MP5, MP5K, like this clone is here, it's getting old, right? It's an old design, it's heavy. It's fun to kind of see something new, okay? Plus, it's from HS Produkt out of Croatia, so I can still say I don't own a Springfield. But that being said, I was just shooting the Kuna a bunch. And now, I think I've misplaced it, because I ended up purchasing my own Kuna. I didn't get it sent to me. And I think we have an issue here. Oh man. Okay. Well, it's a little bit dirty. Well, the side's all right though. The part in the mud there, you know, not too bad, right? Yeah. You know what? We should probably put the other side dirty too. You don't want to be like playing favorites, especially with something like this so new. I know you guys are interested in finding out, well, what's good with it? Does it work good? Is it reliable? All that good jazz. Also this Spetsnaz trench shovel, favorite shovel. But let's go see how this thing is going, because it was shooting really well. I don't know about it anymore though. Mags are pretty cool. They are proprietary. I know people are kind of bummed about that, but they are neat. And we're going to compare the mags, compare to the gun, compare to the rollers, or roller actually in this one, compared to the rollers of an MP5. So I'll show you guys that in a second. Also, has anyone talked about the QD mounts on this? It's different. Usually it's on the back here somewhere. This one's actually on the sides. I like to put it on the left side. For QD, it seems to dangle pretty nice. Pull it up just fine. Does it run dirty though? The internet needs to know for science. It's so dusty in there. Safety's a little wonky. That's the one thing I think I want to change aftermarket. Trigger's all right, and I mean, it's okay. This is basically a Strybog clone, by the way. It's from what I've been hearing, what I've been seeing on the pictures, with the exception of a couple of additions to kind of upgrade the vibe of it, kind of modernize it just a little bit. Here we go. I think it's just like 124 grain ball. There you go. Trigger was a little sluggish there. Once it went up. Oh yeah. So it ran all the rounds just fine. A couple of the trigger pulls changed how they felt though, with that dirt in there. I don't know if it was just struggling on the struggle bus there, but the trigger was like slow to reset for a second there. We should probably clean this up a little bit, huh? Now I didn't buy this for this particular reason, but I got this off Amazon. Link will be below for pretty much all of this stuff if you guys are interested in any of the parts and things you've seen in this video. But this is actually a beach box. It's one of the smaller ones, I think like 1.5 gallons or something. You basically fill it up with water, pressurize it. I bought it for camping and road trips because you have portable pressurized water. Like, and a gallon will go a long ways. Plus with this black kind of sleeve here, this neoprene sleeve, you now have the option to let it get kind of warmed up in the summer sun. Get it in there, get that trigger. You don't need dirt in the trigger, right? There you go. Mag well. Yeah. I did take off that little muzzle brake, but I'll show you everything about it that came in the box and everything in a minute. Mags are fairly simple to load. All polymer construction with steel reinforced feed lips. Love to see that. Can't really go wrong there. Then also you have a knurled grippy little push button to take apart the base plate. Translucent smoke. Love that. Round counters on the side, left and right there. Now the MP5 mags, same capacity, but look at that. They are a lot skinnier, obviously metal construction, so take that for what it is. I know what you're really worried about is, let's drain out the old Kuna. Never oiled this, by the way. I might after this, though. We're gonna let it dry off a little bit. Oh, she's sticky. She's sticky. I almost put like a bucket of water, and I was like, man, we'll just spray it out. Plus the beach box needed to be used. The kids are excited to use that for camping this summer. Whew, got wet. I lost my dot in the water. I can't say it. But look, she ran. Fine, we'll let it dry a little bit. It's a little sticky, but overall, look at that. Mud, dirt, wet. I'm gonna use some of this FP10 CLP from Shooter's Choice. Picked it up over at Otis there. You gotta give the gun a little bit of love, right? Spray it in there a little bit. Just to make sure that she's still lubed up and happy. Now, I can't make this thing up, but Sig dot died. Now, its original battery, just picked it up not long ago. I don't know. It just stopped working. I mean, it's under warranty, so you might have to see the saga that happens with this Romeo 5. I guess it's a good time to say, like, comment, subscribe to find out more with the Sig. That's crazy. Yeah, Kuna's going good. A little oil will do ya. But you know what? Now I have to use the backup sights. That was a weird trigger. It's like floaty sometimes. So far, I am loving the ambi everything on this thing. I mean, you can even switch the charging handle over from the left to the right. Very simple to do. You have a mag release on the right, mag release on the left. You have a bolt release that you can actually access on the left by pushing on the bottom. And now you locked your bolt. You can hit it home, lock it back. And on the other side, you have another mag release right there. Safety is the one thing, although ambi, that I might switch out. It's cleaning up a little bit. When I first got it, it was real stiff and kind of squishy. Like, you don't want a squishy safety. You want a positive safety. Know it's off, know it's on. You got to make sure you know everything about the weapon as you're using it. But flip it down with your thumb. You can lift it up with your trigger finger if you want. Works all right. AR style of grip. Looks like you can switch out the grip for an AR grip. That is pretty neat. And then there are no available types of lower trigger guard here, so it's not too big. I mean, I guess it's all right if you have gloves. It's not too narrow in there for gloves. Everything else runs pretty smooth. The trigger, and I'll compare it to the MP5. Take a listen real quick here. So nice and flat, which is good for distribution of your pull weight there. Ready? Nice wall there, which you're like, oh great, this will be good, this will be good. Creep, 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 and roll to a break. Nice positive reset. Not too bad, maybe that'll work in. It's kind of a nice wall there, but there's a lot of creep right here, and it's like a constant pressure, like more weight, more weight. Ugh, not too bad. But when you shoot it, as you've seen, does it really matter? I mean, that's kind of it, right? If you shoot it, does the trigger matter to you if you can shoot it really well? Suppressed, by the way. No red dot, thing's still dead. Dirt. Yeah, I mean, also you can get a nice C-clamp on here. Just realized I've been doing kind of down here. Yeah. Let's take a look at the MP5 real quick, kind of compare these two, and then we'll go to the table and deep dive into both of them. Through the can on the MP5K, the AP5-P. Now, these do have translucent mags. They are not metal feed lip reinforced like the Kuna. These are just like ETS cheapo mags, but they fit. They work pretty good for what they are. I think it's a good comparison. I do need to get a riser for this because now I'm spoiled with that red dot. When it works, that is great. I've never had a SIG dot just die on like the first few mags. Ooh, what do you guys think? Should we get the Kuna? The Kuna in a very similar configuration there. I do like how it's made in Croatia and that it's also not really a Springfield. That's also just good to note. If you know, you know, because the Turkish clones, anything from Turkey, like the AP5s, AP5Ps, they're really hit and miss. I mean, if you've seen the saga that is the story of my AP5P, you know I've had to change out some stuff to it to make it work. Still has some hiccups here and there. See how this goes with the Kuna suppressed. No dot. I can't tell if it's snappier. I think it might be a little smoother. If not, at least the trigger is better, which helps. And yes, they can both be folded, and you can adjust both the safeties. Before we move on to testing things like some JHPs for some different types of ammunition through the Kuna, and then also maybe doing like a build drill, comparing the two before we wrap this up, let's take a closer look at the Kuna and kind of some of the features up close, make sure everything is copacetic. But first, AP5P, very similar, no optic, but light, similar barrel. I think it's actually a little bit short. I think it's like a 4.5, 5-inch barrel, something like that, where this is a 6-inch barrel. This has a tri-lug with some threads built in. You can kind of see that there. But unloaded, this guy, 5 pounds, 10 ounces, okay? No optic, remember that. Not that it matters with this stupid SIG broken. The Kuna, 5 pounds, almost 14 ounces. So something to consider with that right there. Of course, you have this Strike Industries little brace foldy boy there. Mags are proprietary like we discussed. Everything seems to run very nice and dirty. Need to clean it up now. I can't imagine what could possibly have happened. They did a lot of the grippiness where you would want it. I like a lot of what they did. The fact that the upper receiver is all aluminum, the lower is plastic. I appreciate that. Monolithic Picatinny with numbers up top. I like the flip-up sights that are co-witness to that red dot. If you don't believe me, let me show you. Also, this you push up and fold it. Take a look at that. Straight down the middle. This is adjustable right here, and this one is adjustable up, down. So you have left, right, up, down, but you can flip it, and now you have a U-notch and a front dot post, which is a little bit low for anything with a dot, but for a backup sight, it is pretty nice to have. I like these actually quite a bit. They feel really good. And like I mentioned before, Turkish versus Croatian. Croatian definitely wins in this aspect. The trigger we talked about, but we can go and tackle it again a little bit. It's all right. This being kind of a Strybog clone in a way, it looks like, with some improvements here. Also, I don't know if anyone talked about this, but there is some storage, and there's the bolt to switch out the grips. Storage with a locking latch is always good to see. More they should have it. Now, this does come with 2 mags in the box. I did an unboxing video as a short already, so check that out if you have one already, because that kind of goes into what's in the box or lack thereof in the box. Really, there's nothing in the box. It's not a whole lot. Let me show you the muzzle device real quick that came with it. Muzzle device that came with it is timed with a crush washer. It's kind of like a muzzle brake in a way. This is 1/2x28, by the way. You know, it's 9mm. It's a PCC. I don't think we really need this, so that's why I did choose to do the tri-lug here, which I picked up recently. The link will be down below if you guys are interested in some of this stuff here. You can get something like this at Work Pro, flats here, adjustable wrench, kind of see how that works. This is cool, got this off of Amazon. It's great for things like this. You can take it to the range, put in your range bag, have it for making sure you can grab onto this nice and safely without marring anything up because they are flat. And crank this off, slap on your tri-lug. Magwell is slightly beveled, decent right there. You got some M-lock slots around the sides on the bottom of the handguard, so you could put like a hand stop down here, something on the left, something on the right. I dropped this light with this bar attachment right there for M-lock, just to kind of have it set up nice. Can't really complain. It works. It's an old ProTac from Streamlight. Little folding charging handle seems to work well. You can kind of see on the side here, HS Produkt, made in Croatia. Kuna, Springfield Armory has their stamp on there. Very well made. I believe this was developed a few years ago, just now hitting the market, at least for civilians. And it was developed for a contract with Brazil, with one of their police forces, which was replacing the MP5s they had, because I guess H&K is having issues with helping out their existing customers fix parts for the aging MP5 inventory that a lot of nations are using. So this came about, and you can kind of see it's very similar to the MP5K. So if they're already running MP5s, they want something more modern. I could see how the Kuna could be a good fit for that. I think it was running up against the B&T, what's it, the AP9C, I want to say, one of those. Those are really nice, and this is exactly what this reminds me of, except for the fact that the price point is a lot less than a B&T. Now, YouTube, I am going to take this apart for general maintenance and cleaning to demonstrate how to safely maintain this firearm. All we're going to do, pop out this pin in the back here. And of course, before you even did that, you know, I already checked it, but you want to go and flip this around and check in there, make sure nothing is in there. All right, safety and beyond, that's fine. But now this opens up. You can kind of see wet, dirty, grimy. I've shot it a lot today, putting at least a few rounds through it today alone. but the design is super simple. All right. Now, have heard the triggers. Maybe they'll have some aftermarket support, very similar to, again, the Strybog, just from what I've seen some of my friends talk about when they picked one of these Kunas up. You know, I get it. If it is a clone, not everything can be unique, but it looks like they've done a little bit of work to it to make it kind of special. But these pins are captured, which is good to see. Now, this rear portion here just pops right off, which now allows you to pull out this buffer assembly right here. This is like a soft rubber plastic. And then take a charging handle, pull this back. Gonna need a good cleaning after this. Still hefty for not being a straight blowback, but you have delayed blowback, and there is your roller. See? Forgotten Weapons, Ian does a fantastic job talking about why they did one roller, why this is kind of similar to the Strybog, but this is the hefty portion right here, and that roller is what delays the action enough to allow you to have that smooth action and those fast rounds back on target. At this point, you pretty much field stripped this guy. You're all set to kind of clean it up, which is good because it's absolutely filthy. Inside here is a removable feed ramp, metal. Like, super dirty. You know, I've been shooting it. As you've seen, zero issues right now other than a squishy trigger and kind of squishy safety. But at this point, you take your charging handle if you want, pull it out, put it on the other side. Pretty easy, right? So you do have to take apart some stuff to get that done. Also, interestingly enough, I don't know if anyone talks about it, but this part is what slides back when this thing is now able to move. You can kind of see there's a whole open front here, and this is a piece of polymer in here. That's a polymer guide for the charging handle, and kind of feel it in there. There's that tri-lug on there. I might put a crush washer, get some Loctite on there and really crank on it, because I do love a good tri-lug. I mean, it's 9mm. I don't need a fancy muzzle device or anything like that. That's it. You can pop the pin out some more, clean it up. I'll probably do a full cleaning video on this. It's gonna need it. Little bit different. Where is she at? Here she is. Bigger, right? But notice where the rollers are. So roller delayed in HK, oh my God, it's so filthy, is right here on the sides. Right there, and how it rolls. See how it pushes in? This one, though, is right here, single roller. So I can't really tell the difference shooting them, but in theory, the MP5 should be a little smoother, just by a hair. But the Kuna, I mean, it's almost neck and neck. Little tap tap, man, she is filthy. There you go, locked in. Buffer. There's actually a hole in the back of that lower there, or the bolt. There you go, back in like that. Very similar in how it's designed with the MP5 is you need to have a rear plate of some type. Push that pin in, check for function. How do we do? Not too bad. I know what you guys really came here for. Full mag, right? First 10 rounds. This Max Tech 124 grain FMJs, non-corrosive, 9mm. Stuff I've been shooting all day. Love the stuff. Then some Federal Premium Law Enforcement HSTs, 9mm Luger plus Ps, 124 grain. And then finally, if that doesn't booger it up nice, this Norma MLE 9mm 94 grain frangible reduced hazard training ammo. This stuff sucks. So it is frangible ammo. Looks kind of like this. Flat nose, and it likes to jam up some of my 9mm, not all. But will it jam up the Kuna? So 10, 10, and 10. Infinite defense target, freshly painted, right there in the white. All right, Kuna, here we go. Count them up, guys. Max Tech, Federal HSTs, crappie frangible. Here we go. What do you think? Maybe top, middle, bottom? All right, here we go. All right, I got 10. Another 10. Another 10. And the bottom. There you go, frangible. So much softer. Everything. And they all felt different with the trigger and how the recoil felt. Let's take a look. First 10 rounds, all right there. You saw it happen live. Next 10 rounds, whew, this JHPs, you see that? I did this for you guys. Tore straight through this thing. And then frangible right there. So accurate. Got some holes in this thing. It's getting old anyways, but full review is on this one coming up here pretty soon. Maybe shoot some drills with the A-zones. What do you think? Fresh target, 5 rounds, 9mm, 124 grain Max Tech, HS Produkt, Springfield Kuna, 7 yards, irons, because my red dot is garbage right now. Field drill, let's see, as fast as we can. Low ready. Whew, that was terrible. Try again. I got 2 in, 2 in line, 1 just outside the line last time. Same thing. What do you want to do, safety off? Yeah, whatever. 218, but I missed a couple. Gotta get my irons sighted better. All of them in. 170, there you go. Got the irons in now. Peep sight's very nice, just big enough. I kind of don't like the ones that are too small. It's kind of hard to catch it in there, but just the right size to get that front post. 170 is the time to beat. I don't know, man. Oh, 171. But they're all in. Maybe one out, I can't tell. Maybe one on the line. I might have hit one on the B zone there. Last 5 rounds, here we go. Let's get them all in there. .191, but they're all in. Not bad for irons. I gotta get the SIG looked at. Let's wrap this video up with a hot take. What do you think? PCCs have come a long way in the last decade or so. Obviously, they've been around for a lot longer than that, but civilians, for guns like this, there's not a lot of options, or at least there was not a lot of options. The MP5 was the king for decades. Now, that being said, CZ Scorpion came out, you know, I don't know, like a decade ago now at this point. And with that came an affordable option for 9mm PCC. I know a lot of you guys, myself included, super stoked. It had issues right out of the bat though. Remember that grip and the safety stabbing your finger there? Like, it just had some weird issues to it. Gunsmiths hate that gun, by the way. I've worked on it. And it's a pain, right? That being said, it was affordable, decent quality, and it was exciting. It was something new to the market. And then it came along things like clones of MP5s and MP5Ks, like the AP5, like the AP5P, like the Mac 5 for those MP5s, made in Turkey. Now, Turkey, of course, has its own issues with quality, but they're getting better. And now they're so affordable that you're getting even more quality. Like the Mac 5 had 0 issues with. I set it up like a die-hard gun. You're gonna see that here soon. And I haven't had any issues with it. So with something like the HS Produkt Kuna, you're looking at high quality, Strybog, B&T clone, whatever you want to call it, high quality, affordable. It's another milestone in PCC development for civilians. I really think it is. I think it's a bigger deal just because of the price point and the quality. There's not that many PCCs out there that I'm like, wow, like, I'm impressed with the quality. And you saw me beat it up. It eats everything. Now, long term, sure. I own this thing, so you're gonna see it a bunch. I'll take it to shoot without the sight. A-zone. Suppressed, it's great. There's nothing blowing back at you. It's lightweight. Now, sure, it's about the same weight as the MP5K or the AP5-P, but it's got a lot of features that one doesn't. And it's more ergonomic, I think, from just an ergonomic standpoint, from the grip being AR-15 compatible, to the knurling where you want it, to more M-LOK, of course, to the flip-up sights. I mean, the sights are great with this stupid Sig Romeo 5. I don't know. I think they hit it out of the park with this one. I really do. I'm sad it's Springfield that did it. I mean, if you know, you know, but I mean, you don't want to think politics-wise. It's a cool gun. It's developed by HS Produkt. It's held up really well. I'm going to keep it, run it a bunch more. You're going to see it in future video reviews. Yeah, I think that's about it, guys. I'm going to give this... Oh, I just don't know. All right, politics. We're going to take it. Throw it over there. Let's pretend Springfield has nothing to do with this. Here, pass it off. Oh, look at this new thing. Look, HK made this. Wow. 5 out of 5 cheesy gordita crunches.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
I know, bold, right? But 5 out of 5. I don't think I've good anything 5 out of 5. I just haven't had any issues with it. Like, the safety is wonky. The trigger is weird. But that being said, it is accurate. It's fast. A-zones, you can get used to it. Everything else, as we've seen in the video, it's pretty solid. And the big thing is reliability. So water, dirt, all that kind of testing. Standard stuff where if you drop this in the dirt, which I'm gonna have a review on a bunch of magazines here pretty soon. I asked you guys on YouTube if you wanna see extreme, like blow the magazine up with dynamite, or if you wanna see realistic, like drop it in the mud by accident, right? Drop it in the dirt, see if the rounds fly out, you know, go and maybe run it over with a truck, but that's kind of unrealistic if you think about it, but maybe just to see if it still runs, if you have to have a mag, you're like, oh, it's stuck under the truck tire, and you grab it. Well, kind of like that. This is throw in the dirt. Wash it off with water, throw it in water. Those kind of things I think are realistic to what you might see in the real world for testing something like this. And things break. Nothing's invincible. Nothing's going to just last forever. But I think this is holding up pretty well. Of course, in a month from now, when there's a giant crack across the plastic polymer lower here, we'll let you guys know immediately. But that being said, it's pretty solid. So if you have any questions about this, any comments, anything you want to see me do to this, because it's mine, I don't really care. Like, whatever you want me to do. We can put it in some cement, we can blow it up and then shoot it. I don't know. Hit them down in the comments, so I'll be happy to answer them. Train hard. You never know what's coming. Train a lot. Dry fire. You don't have to shoot. Dry fire. Just dry fire. Practice with your dot at home. Practice reloads at home. Like, it doesn't matter. Just the functionality of it. I have been just shooting for a decade now, and I just get better by shooting every week. Just like anything else. Train, practice, take care of the ones you love. Those are the ones that matter. And we'll see you all in the next review.